thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja Atutejani. The regular meeting of the National Executive Council is currently underway at the Council Chambers in Abuja, presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The meeting, which includes governors of the 36 states and key government functionaries, is where critical issues pertaining to the economy are discussed. Meanwhile, the federal government says the renewed hope agenda of the present administration will work out modalities to deal with the myriad challenges confronting the nation, especially in the socio-economic sector. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance at a public lecture to mark Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary at the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. The federal government has declared Monday, October 2nd, 2023, a public holiday in commemoration of the 63rd anniversary of the nation's independence. In a statement, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, congratulates all Nigerians at home and abroad, assuring Nigerians of government's continued commitment to tackling challenges facing the country. Tunji Ojo reiterates that the eminent position of Nigeria among the nations and the greatness ahead is achievable if all citizens work together in unity and cooperate with government under the renewed hope agenda. The Ministry of Labour and Employment has disowned reports circulating online and in conventional media claiming that the President will announce wage awards and palliatives to workers during his October 1st Independence Day speech. The report, which is said to have emanated from a purported, quote, interview with the Director of Information at the Ministry, also claims that a last-minute meeting has been scheduled for Tuesday between the federal government and organized labor to avert the proposed strike. The Director of Information, Olajide Oshundu, in a statement categorically states that the report is false and misleading, as no such disclosure was made to the media at any time. The ministry enjoins the public to ignore the fake story. The federal government has been implored to take urgent steps to reconstruct failed roads in the southeast zone. The appeal came to the fore when the federal lawmakers from Enugu State paid an inspection visit to the collapsed bridge at the new artisan axis of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. Chika Ugu reports.
Lawmakers who took time to inspect the level of damage at the collapsed bridge regretted that most of the infrastructure in the zone have deteriorated over time and in dire need of renovation. They implored the federal and state governments to remedy the situation before it becomes a major threat to lives and property. The lawmakers said the collapsed bridge would affect businesses and other projects the state government has commenced to enhance development of the state and country.
But some of these roads were built, like in this particular one was built in the 70s. So that tells you the importance of doing a serious integrity test.
Acknowledging the hardship experienced as a result of the collapsed bridge, they appealed to commuters to exercise patience, assuring them that the state and federal governments will not only reconstruct the bridge, but also commence regular maintenance of roads. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And back here in the FCT, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has relieved the heads of some government establishments of the Federal Capital Territory Authority of their appointments with immediate effect. A statement signed by the Director Press in the Office of the Minister, Anthony Ogunleye, lists 21 heads of establishments, including the MDs of the Abuja Investment Company Limited, Abuja Markets Management Limited, Abuja Urban Mass Transport Company, Abuja Property Development Company, among others. The statement directs the affected officers to hand over the affairs of their offices to the most senior officers. Meanwhile, appointments into the offices will be made in due course. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, says the ministry is mapping a strategic approach to tackle critical issues involving women and children in order to achieve the mandate of the ministry. Ngozi Teknikyo outlines the issues.
New approach, the minister explains, is informed by her burning desire to make positive impact on women to enable them become self-reliant. Issues raised are ensuring that women across the country form cooperative societies to create access to empowerment facilities from the ministry, establishing mobile courts for quick dispensation of justice on matters of violence against women, sexual abuse, and building a sanitary production firm, among others.
So we first empower them with the same method of providing them with production machine, depending on what is attainable in the areas they live in. And when we provide it, we help them in the marketing.
In a related development, the minister played host to leaders of student unions across tertiary institutions in Nigeria to address the rising cases of sexual harassment between lecturers and students. After a closed-door deliberation of more than 2 hours, the duo came up with these far-reaching decisions.
So the students, together with the Ministry of Women Affairs, have decided that judicial actions must be taken so that that person will be called to order and others will learn from it.
To the minister, changing the narrative in the ministry is her watchword as she swings into action with the renewed hope agenda. Ngozi Teknikyo, NTA News.
The Department of State Services has established a new Directorate of Public Relations and Strategic Communications as part of efforts to sustain its engagement with the public and to deepen democratic governance, transparency and accountability. A statement by the DSS notes that Dr. Peter Afunanya is to head the Directorate as the Supervising Director and also be in charge of the service's public communications. The statement adds that Dr. Afunanya has more than 20 years experience in various sectors, in various areas of security, intelligence and development communications. It's time to join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide. Hingino.
Thank you, Naja'atu. 50 years after adopting an international convention for the prevention of pollution from ships, the maritime industry is reminding the global community that the commitment goes on as the urge to combat the devastating impacts of climate change remains intense. Michael Olale reports that apart from advocating decarbonization, unlocking green finance is key to sustaining efforts at reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Calm, gentle, yet indispensable to the existence of man, simply explains why water has no enemy. But its inability to stretch forth hands of resistance in the face of oppression makes it vulnerable. Vulnerability here mostly due to plastic litters from ships, pollution as a result of fossil fuel used by vessels, and other human actions threatening the ocean's ecosystem.
We must protect that marine economy. So in doing that, building a circular economy, we are going to prevent plastics from ending up in the ocean, and we're going to give value to people so that they can give back the plastics to the producers for recycling.
The adoption of Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from by the International Maritime Organization IMO in 1973 is crucial to addressing these challenges, and as part of the industry's contribution to climate change, MAPO at 50 is therefore highlighting the need for partnership to drive innovation in marine fuel production and decarbonizing the maritime sector.
Shipping is evolving. Shipping must embrace decarbonization, digitalization, and innovative technology, including automation, while ensuring the human element is kept front and the center of the technological and the green transition to ensure a sustainable planet for future generations.
Experts say there is need for unlocking green finance to support developing countries' efforts to key into the global initiative.
In other countries, you have the maritime industry being able to borrow from the bank at 5%, at 4%, at 9%. We're supposed to have 1, 2, or 3 maritime banks. The issue of CVFF fund that we're talking about now is supposed to be legislated over by a maritime bank.
While countries around the globe, including Nigeria, are focusing more on opportunities in the blue economy, experts are equally warning on the need to drive innovation towards the sustainable use of the ocean. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
After flagging of Blue Line commercial train services a few weeks ago, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the commitment to deliver the 37-kilometer Red Line train project by the end of the year will be sustained. The governor stated this after undertaking an inspection tour of Red Line train project in Lagos. Musa Toliat has the details.
Government's promise to deliver the Red Line rail system is barely 3 months away. The need to ascertain the level of work done and areas that need more attention necessitated this inspection tour of the Red Line project. Train stations visited include Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Yaba, Ido, and Ebute Metta. Governor Sanwo-Olu, however, frowned at the level of incursion into train tracks by traders at some stations visited.
We're still on track, to see how we can finish before the end of this year. And that's what we're committed to. We've told some people that are selling, that are working on the rail corridor, that it will be zero tolerance. We've given notices, we've appealed to them, you were there, you saw it, and we need to clean up all of the entire rail corridor so that it can be free.
He disclosed that completed vehicular bridges around train stations in Yaba and Ikeja will soon be opened to traffic.
What we will be doing, even before we launch the full Red Line, is to give vehicular relief to the citizens. So the first bridge that we're probably going to open will be the Yaba bridge, which we will do in the month of October. There we will quickly, maybe within a week or two, also go to Ikeja along, and open that big bridge as well.
The Red Line Metro is a 37-kilometer rail project which runs from Agbado to Marina with 13 stations. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide will continue after this break in Kaduna.
To Nationwide and welcome to Kaduna. For Nigeria to get it right in its quest to ensure peace in the states that were affected by insecurity, effective collaboration and networking among the peace builders is critical. This forms part of the submission at a one-day capacity building organized by Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Research for Peace Builders from Northwest, held in Kano. Aminu Umar reports.
Almost all the states of the Northwest have their own share of insecurity, from banditry to kidnapping or farmer-herder clashes. This poses threat to the well-being of the states, affecting the food security of the nation, as farmers could not freely go to the farms. Farida Kwachido from Zamfara State, alongside other participants, joined their colleagues from other states of the Northwest. This is to get them equipped with new ideas and thinking towards effective networking and collaboration that will help contribute more towards peace-building efforts in their states.
I'm confident enough that after this program, I will be equipped with knowledge and strategies in which I can approach my community down to the state government on how we can tackle insecurity at all levels.
In the areas of peace building, they give us a good mechanism, a new mechanism in order to work as a local peace builders in our communities.
In this direction, Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Research partnered an international collaborator towards building their capacity to better be able to network, collaborate, promote mutual familiarization among the peace builders, and build their capacity on how to share information among themselves to achieve lasting peace in their areas.
This collaboration will further promote understanding. It will further promote networking among peace builders.
The outcome of this is envisaged to produce the desired results that will engender peace in the state and better for Nigeria. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
From Kano, Katsina State Government is to introduce comprehensive teachers training program to strengthen and improve education system in the state. Governor Diko Umarada stated this when he received report of committee on the employment of 7,325 teachers for basic and secondary level. Awal Haliru has the details.
This committee, set up by the state government to conduct screening and examination, led to the recruitment of 7,325 new teachers in the state by the Dikorakda administration. Chairman of the committee, Dr. Sagir Dahiru, says those recruited are mostly S-Power beneficiaries as well as part-time and voluntary teachers.
One out that 96% of the law of the who sat for exam successfully passed. So after that, we even recommended some for training, so those who are exceptional were recommended without training. But His Excellency said we should be supposed to be subjected to training.
Governor Diko Umarada reiterated his administration's resolve to invest hugely in education for a greater society.
We'll embark on the second journey of training the newly recruited teachers in making sure that those who don't have teaching qualification are able to get the teaching qualification before their confirmation. We are also going to continue with the existing teachers training.
That warned all stakeholders in the recruitment process to be honest at all times. The state government, he added, will continue to strengthen the education sector for best results. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
And our report completes our package from here back to Nigeria in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Salamatu. Nasarawa State Government says it will leverage the new Electricity Act to woo investors to the value chain of the power sector to improve power supply across the state. Governor Abdullahi Sule made this known when he inaugurated power infrastructure in Doma. Aliu Tijani reports.
Doma, an agrarian and economically viable town, but over the years suffers poor power supply, thereby crippling small businesses in the community. Attempts by previous administrations in the state to address the power challenge in Doma yield no result, with power project initiated abandoned. Now, the present government of Abdullahi Sule steps in to end decades of poor power supply with the provision of 7.5 MVA transformer.
Well, I'm excited because it's been longing for such projects, and in fact, I'm happy. You can see it from my face.
It will boost our economy because there are a lot of business activities, like people welding, the sales of pure water. People will have a refrigerator where they will produce ice and be selling it to the people.
Governor Sule inaugurates the transformer amidst jubilation by the residents of Doma, describing it as a game changer. He urged people of Doma to take ownership of the project and guard it against vandals.
You have excess of over 3,000 right now that people can use. So if there is no power in Doma for whatever reason, it's not because you don't have sufficient power. So today you can actually have so many small factories around this area, and they can use that excess power.
On behalf of the people of Doma, who are the beneficiaries of this aspiration you have made a reality, Your Excellency, we thank you.
It is expected that the project will not only light up Doma for improved security, but will encourage the growth of small businesses, thereby boosting economic activities of the area. In Doma, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
With the prediction of a high volume of water in Oyon Dam in Abeokuta in September and October 2023, authorities of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development say efforts are being made to mitigate the potentially devastating effects which could be caused by release of excess water from the the dam into Ogun River. This is to control perennial flooding often experienced during this period by residents living in the flood-prone areas of Ogun and Lagos states. Yemi Dalemo reports.
Oyo Dam in Abeokuta is a multi-purpose dam reservoir which is also a tributary of the Ogun River, used primarily to supply raw water to Lagos and Abeokuta, but has the potential for use in irrigation and power generation. The dam accommodates a high volume of water from the faraway Benin Republic and Okeogun area for your state, which, when added to the rainwater in Ogun State, increase water flow into the dam.
We've created spaces in the dam. So as water comes in, we are releasing it at a regulated pattern that will not affect downstream. Before you release, is it raining upstream or downstream? So when it's raining downstream, then we reduce. When it's raining upstream, we can increase. So we consider all this.
Mr. Oneyiton says new strategies are being adopted to control flood in Ogun and Lagos states.
Let us encourage people to plant grasses in their houses. This one will reduce the speed of water, thereby reducing flash flood, urban flooding, all these things.
The River Basin Boss notes that Oyo Dam, rather than contributing to flooding, has been playing active roles in flood control through systematic releases of water from the dam to prevent devastation on residents. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Similarly, the increasing water level around Bayelsa waterways has heavily affected farmlands, with farmers being worried about prices of food crops like cassava flakes, known as gari, and other food crops soaring. Ebinmizi Timyola reports that the farmers are appealing for federal and state governments' intervention to cushion the impact of the flood if it occurs.
Bayelsa, a coastal state, is surrounded by rivers, rivulets, and creeks. It is blessed with fertile soil that is annually naturally fortified with alluvia for the cultivation of various crops. Regrettably, farmlands lying along riverbanks and creeks are heavily impacted by the rising water level. This is the Pier Creek. During the dry season, farming activities thrive here, but at its stance, farmers are being forced to uproot their crops because of the rising water level. Supposed upland farmlands are also affected, resulting in the decay of food crops, which farmers fear may cause a hike in price.
The water done too much for the ground, the thing said don't they rotting, so we are forced to go and uproot it.
At least the little ones we can do, we do it. Just that the rain, the water, the flood is really disturbing.
Also of concern is the possibility of scarcity of farm inputs like cassava stems for the next planting season, as experienced previously when farmers had to buy cassava stems from neighboring states at a high cost. Few others were fortunate enough to benefit from the federal government IFAD flood relief.
So we lost all the cassava stems we preserved, the ones we raised up high too, some of them due to the flood. The things we use in holding the stems could not hold it.
The fate of these farmers is hanging in the balance as they are alarmed by the fear of yet another flood as predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. In Yenagua, Ebinimi Zitemiola, NTA News.
And now to acts of charity. The concept of interest-free financing in Islam is a form of charity to help those in need, and the Muslim Sisters Organization is demonstrating this concept to support the economy of families in Sokoto State. Zainab Saidu Abdel Nasser reports.
There is a concept of interest-free loan known as Arjan Hassan. It is considered a form of charity and a way to help those in need without expecting anything in return. The concept is based on the principle of helping others and promoting social welfare, supporting the needy and making them productive. In the year 2020, the Zakat and Endowment Commission Sokoto State introduced the model, which was embraced by the Muslim Sisters Organization Sokoto State Chapter. The MSO started with providing the interest-free loan to 18 beneficiaries after getting assistance from well-meaning Muslims. Record shows that to date, the number of beneficiaries has grown to 600. The program has changed the fortunes of many indigent families. In Sokoto, Zainab Said Abdel Nasser, NTA News.
Statistics, available data rather, shows that Sokoto State lags behind some other states in human indices requiring urgent attention, and banditry is one of the challenges aggravating the poverty level in the rural communities. To support families facing such situations, a faith-based organization, the Muslim Sisters Organization, is providing support to women to be self-reliant. Usman Muhammad Binji is with the desk officer Shafa'atu for more on this. Shafa'atu Sabir for more on this situation. Usman, can you hear me?
Yes, Naja'atu, it's good to see you. You are welcome to Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate. Well, in Islam, there is concept of interest-free loan, which is popularly known as Qadr al-Hassan. The concept or the model was introduced by Sokoto State Zakat Endowment Commission in year 2020. And it was graciously embraced by MSO, that is Muslim Sister Organization Sokoto State Chapter. The aim of the program is largely to assist the vulnerable persons in the society to make them be self-reliant. And since year 2020, the MSO had started or began the implementation of the model, and they were able to start with 18 vulnerable persons by giving the interest-free loan. To date, the number has grown to 600. And with me is the ex-officer or the chairperson of Al-Qarar Al-Hassan, MSO Sokoto State, in the person of Shafa'u Ahmad Sabir. And she will be telling us the success story of the program. Shafa'u, you are welcome. Maybe you tell us about the Al-Qarar Al-Hassan, which is the interest-free loan, which you people have started implementing in Sokoto State.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Qaran Hassan means a beautiful loan. It's from the ayah of the Quran. Allah says, who is going to give me a loan? And I will increase it for him, and I will forgive him. So this idea was brought to us from the chairman, Zakah and Waqaf. He called all the people of Sokoto State, all the organizations, and he explained to us this idea was brought to him from Kanu by Dr. Amjad Sakir, who bring the idea to us in Nigeria. They have started it in Pakistan, and now it has grown into a big organization called Akhwat. It started with a lady, a widow, with children. She went to Dr. Amjad Sakir.
If I will ask you, maybe what are some of the benefits so far?
Qaran Hassan has many benefits. It is given to people who want to be self-reliant. It's not for vulnerable, it's not for people that don't want to work. If you know you can work and sustain yourself, that's when we give you Qaran Hassan. It's just a small amount given to people so that they will start, it will help start off their own businesses. So we'll give you, and you will do your businesses, and you will return it gradually within 6 months. Is how you want to settle it. You can give monthly, or you can give after 3 months, or you can give in full by 6 months. And Alhamdulillah, we have seen the sources.
I know recently you disbursed about 2 million naira to 40 women. Maybe what is the criteria do you people use to choose the beneficiaries?
Already, MSO, Muslim Sisters Organization, has categorized her activities into zones and rural area. In Sokoto Metropolis, we have like 27 zones, and in each zone we have an Amira. This Amira is one that will bring the people that she know will do that business, and she's one that will collect the money given to them gradually. And in the rural area, we have we have our teachers that we do rural da'wah. There are some teachers that used to go there every week to teach the people there. So it's through these teachers that they will pick people that are willing to do businesses. And it's through these teachers that they will be bringing the money so that they will return it to us. This loan,
if I will ask you, are these people paying back? And what is the rate of the repayment?
the rate of repayment is like 94%. You see, the only things is just sometimes the time limit. They will increase it, but the payment is very good. Because everybody, is people that are willing, and people are
okay. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. That was Shapau Ahmad Saibiru, the chairperson of Al Hassan MSO Sokoto chapter. We took her on what they have been doing regarding giving interest-free loan to vulnerable women in Sokoto State with a view to making them self-reliant. Thank you, Najatu.
Thank you very much, Usman. I've been speaking with Usman Muhammad bin G from our Sakwato Network Center on the interest-free loans being given to women to help them become more self-reliant in the state. And now to political matters. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is confident of bouncing back to its old winning ways. The party expressed this confidence during the presentation of the People's Democratic Institute's Establishment Committee report to the National Working Committee of the party in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf was there for NTA News.
People's Democratic Institute, PDI, is the training and research arm of the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
To the acting national chairman.
Efforts towards making it vibrant again brought about its establishment committee, chaired by the PDP Deputy Chairman South, Ambassador Tawfiq Arakbaja. The committee's major task is to recruit a Director General to lead the institute as well as put in place a governing board.
As a first step towards the revival of the institute, the educating office building was rented, renovated, furnished, and equipped for PDI to effectively engage the purpose for which it was established. This was made possible through the assistance granted to the party by His Excellency Sheyi Makinde, the Executive Governor for your state.
The acting national chairman of the PDP, Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagum, explained that the party's leadership allowed the committee to function without interference.
We will look at the report as NWC holistically.
PDP leaders at all levels are enjoined to key into the party's efforts towards reviving the institute, as exemplified by the governor of your state, Sheyi Makinde. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Away from party matters, the acting executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, Chris Jibril Meyaki, has charged universities to find alternative sources of funding which will help them discharge their mandates. This was when he hosted the governor of Niger State, Muhammad Umar Bagu, on the conversion of Niger State College of Education to the Niger State University of Education, making it the 63rd state-owned university and the 270th in Nigeria.
The self will ever be self-sufficient, whether it's in Nigeria or in other climes. But what we have continued to emphasize is that state governments must, out of deliberate policy, make sure that they, make sustainable funding their top priority. And the universities also, by their research activities and partnerships and other governmental sources must begin to look out of the box.
Niger State had just passed a law for education trust fund. So every contract of government, every transaction within the state is charged with 1% for education fund.
Executive Secretary also advised the state government to ensure its facilities are upgraded to suit modern learning trends. Let's now join Charles in Makurdi for more on Nationwide. Hello, Charles.
Jatu, and a warm welcome to Makurdi. Let's begin with security issue, where the federal government says it is poised to equipping the Nigerian Air Force for safe conduct of training and agile manpower employment to meet the nation's security challenges. Minister of Defense Mohammed Abubakar said this at the graduation ceremony of the Air War Course 9 2023 in Makurdi. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that the minister was represented by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa.
Air Force War College is the highest professional institution in the Nigerian Air Force, established to build the capacity of middle cadre officers in kinetic operations, planning and management for effective employment of air power. The Air Force War College Course 9/2023, inaugurated on the 13th of January 2023, comprised 15 senior officers.
The exercise is aimed at promoting inter-service synergy and collaboration, as well as interoperability at the operational level within the armed forces of Nigeria.
Chief of the Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who represented the Defense Minister, reiterated the government's commitment in human capacity development of the Air Force to successfully tackle the various security threats confronting the nation.
I would like to remind our armed forces that your calling demands integrity, dedication, loyalty, as well as high standard of discipline and professionalism in the discharge of your duties. You have actually been demonstrating all these qualities to a commendable extent. So I would like to urge you not to rest on your oars. The service will continue to make efforts towards improving the curriculum, quality of instructions, and learning environment of the college to meet international best practices.
Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia commended the efforts of the Nigerian Air Force as its presence in the state has continued to boost the confidence of residents.
When you hold very huge and significant events like these in the state, creates more confidence and hope in all of us.
Certificates and award of excellence were presented to participants with outstanding performance in the course of the training. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And on governance, Benue State Executive Council has approved 9.2 billion naira for the construction of 16 township roads and streets within Makurdi metropolis. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting. Elias Itiaf completes the report.
Apart from the approval of 9.2 billion naira for the construction of the 16 township roads and streets within Makurdi, the council also approved a sum of 369.8 million naira meant for compensation for land for the Nigerian Navy base opposite the Alfred Akawe Tokula Polytechnic, North Bank, Makurdi. Equally approved is the upgrading of the approval limit for the governor from 50 million naira to 250 million naira due to the present economic realities. Other resolutions of the Executive Council meeting is a restructuring of 17 ministries with specific roles from the former ministries that existed in the state. In a similar vein, the Council granted the approval for the rehabilitation of some federal roads in the state. They are the Gboko-Lesev Ihu Road, the Ali Edegboko Road, as well as the Oju or Tupo Road.
Roads that have been approved in the Makurdi metropolis, but within a very short time, other metropolis within the state, including Katsina, Otobo, Agbo, will be visited.
The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, also disclosed that the Council appropriated a supplementary budget of 30.2 billion naira, which will be sent to the Benue State House of Assembly for consideration. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, NTA News.
That report rounds off our contribution from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Najatu after this time out.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're talking security matters now. The Nigerian military has raided the residence and apprehended the district head of Awe local government area of Nasarawa State, recovering rifles with several rounds of ammunition. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, announced this at a news conference in Abuja.
It's the bi-weekly news conference on ongoing armed forces operations across the country, and the Director of Defense Media Operations has recorded some breakthroughs across flashpoints.
Troops of Operation
Top is the arrest of a traditional ruler and recovery of firearms in Nasarawa State.
Troops raided and apprehended the district head of Awe local government area of Nasarawa State. During operations, troops recovered one submachine gun, one G3 rifle, one unserviceable FN rifle, 19 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO ammo, and several rounds of 9 mm ammo.
Similarly, troops raided criminal enclaves in Suleja and Tafa, smoking out high-profile terrorists.
Troops, in conjunction with personnel of sister security agencies, raided terrorist hideouts in Tafa and Suleja local government area of Niger State. During the operations, troops arrested 2 high-profile terrorists and they are cooperating with ongoing investigations.
Details of the recent operations indicate that 91 kidnapped victims were rescued, 184 terrorists arrested, while 191 unrepentant terrorists were eliminated during various operations.
Overall, troops of Operation Delta State arrested 59 suspected oil thieves and other criminal elements. They destroyed 38 dugout pits, 21 boats, 57 storage tanks, and 34 illegal refining sites, among others.
The defense headquarters enjoined Nigerians to see the ongoing manhunt against criminals as a collective responsibility. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A valuable document to aid parenting for peace has been presented to the public. Elizabeth Omorui reports that the document, launched by the Ministry of Women Affairs in conjunction with USAID and Mercy Corps, is expected to serve as a guide for families, educational institutions, and Nigerians in the fight against violent extremism.
Terrorism continues to pose a major threat to peace and security in most nations across the globe, undermining core values. For these reasons, the Parenting for Peace P4P Guide, Peace Advocates say, will assist in addressing threats of violent extremism from the home front. Minister of Women Affairs and other speakers insist the document will serve as a multi-sectoral response for the youth to have safe and inclusive society.
The way you live with your husband in the house equally determines how your children will grow up to be. You have to open up a door for your children to feel free to communicate with you.
Don't compare them with any other child. Your child is your child.
For the sake of Nigeria, to be one and to be united, to be peaceful, we have to do something on the economic situation of the country.
Other peace advocates urge parents and caregivers to be conflict sensitive. They recommend inclusion of the P4P in school curriculum by the Ministry of Education. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Not only did she put a stop to the killing of twins, she lived in the hinterlands of present-day South Nigeria, and her impact still resonates. That's the story of legendary missionary Mary Mitchell Slessor, whose tale is being retold through the empowerment of more than 60 widows across the 3 senatorial districts of Akwa Ibom State. Evelyn Badu Ekpo reports.
She came, lived and conquered societal ills and norms, and her life is replicated. Scottish missionary Mary Slessor is the reason for this foundation, which is geared at empowering widows, one of the ideals of the late missionary while on earth. 65 widows from the 3 senatorial districts in Akwa Ibom State smile home with various forms of empowerment to start businesses and sustain their families.
I will make good use of it. I would like to use this money and establish myself. We picked the widows, over 200 across the 3 senatorial districts of Akwa Ibom State, and we had to give them money, financial support so that they can start something.
A pep talk on the need to be self-reliant despite challenges widows encounter upon the death of the husband is probably setting the foundation to be financially stable against odds.
Once you start something, you are a different person. Yes.
Mary Slessor Akanglo Foundation, established in 2001, is to cater for the needy whilst promoting the ideals of Mother Mary Slessor. In Uyo, Evelyn Badu Epo, NTA News.
In its quest to promote national unity and innate talent among the youth, the Nasrallah Fatih Games NASGA was initiated. Third in the series, the 2023 edition has opened with the commissioning of a 23 million naira ultra-modern basketball pitch. Annie Daniels reports.
100. Sports has remained a national and international unifier. Determined, therefore, to curb youth restiveness, NASGA has continued to gain grounds.
We have our 23 zones of NASFAT throughout the world, and out of the 17 zones we have in Nigeria, about 12 zones of NASFAT are represented at this NASFAT Games 2023. In the nearest future, we are looking at also involving not just other Islamic organizations, but even do an inter-religion sporting competition.
We have at least 3 players who had participated at NASFAT Games, currently outside the shore of the country, doing well for themselves in the games. We also have some players who were part of this edition, actually even leave the game after finishing their games yesterday to go and play for their league team that they play for in Abuja.
Irrespective of whatever religion they belong to, we have that responsibility as mothers to support our youth in taking active part in sports and in games.
This over 20 million naira basketball pitch was also commissioned.
We believe that with this, we'll be able to raise a great team that will represent us at all private university games.
We believe everything is not all about academics. Outside academics, there are lots to do and shine both in academics and in sports. NASFAT has been at the forefront of preaching peace and unity and promises to keep up the good work with events like this one. In Oshobo, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And that report concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching.